This is 80/20 Programming, your place to master the art of programming by solving problems and building projects. Hello, welcome back. If you're just joining us, you'll know this channel is one that teaches programming principles by solving problems. I focus on a practice-based approach, and really you'll learn basic principles of software design engineering by solving these problems. And right now we're working in the codewars platform. And so today, this is the problem I've chosen for us to solve. Okay, it's an 8Q, remove first and last character. Okay, we look at the description. It says it's pretty straightforward. Your goal is to create a function that removes the first and last characters of a string. You're given one parameter, the original string. Okay, you don't have to worry about strings with less than 2 characters. Okay, so we come up here and we hit train. Okay, and this opens up the system and gives us a spot to work. Okay, now if we notice, we have the basic function declaration. Okay, we got function, remove char. Okay, the string, the str is passed in as a parameter. Okay, and then it's our job to solve it. Now, you might recall that string is a basic data type in JavaScript. It could be a word or a sentence, anything between single quotes, double quotes, or backticks. It's supposed to be a string. Anyway, we want to remove the first and the last character of the string. Okay, and so we understand what our parameter is, and then what we want to return is really just the middle portion. Okay, and then down here in our sample tests, it shows a few examples. So if we have eloquent as our word, a string, we want to return the L through the N. Country will return O through R. Okay, and you see how that operates. That should give you a good idea of what you want to do. Okay, and so a good thing to do is start thinking about the code, what you want to do, and then how you would do it. Okay, there's a lot of ways to solve these problems. You could come in here and declare a new variable. A variable is really just a box to hold something. In JavaScript, you can use let or const or bar. Those are ways of declaring a variable. Okay, so we'll do new stir. We'll set it to an empty string. Okay, and then we could use a for loop to iterate over the original string and return portion of it. And so we could do for let I equal 1, I less than stir length minus 1, I plus plus. Oh, I do that for plus plus. Okay. Now, if you notice, this is kind of an interesting thing here. So we've got a for loop inside. This is really, we declare where we start and what we're going to work up to, and then the number of steps. Okay, but that's a for loop in JavaScript. Okay, and then as we're working in the for loop, we do new str plus equals stri. This will basically, for every iteration, it'll put a letter that's not 0 or not the first letter or the last into the new string. Okay, and then we do that, and then we come down here and we return str. Okay, now if we did this right, we should pass, and we did. But you'll find that there are many. Let me see if we can pass all of the test suite. So we passed all of it. We got credit. This is, it's a fairly beginner-friendly approach. But if you take some time and you read the documentation, you'll find there are other ways to do it. So, for example, let me comment this out. Okay, I could have come in here and did something called some slicing on the string. So I would do return str dot slice. Okay, 1, -1. Okay, let me test this one. And it passed again. This is a much shorter method. This is probably the preferred method of solving it. If when you get into the answers, we'll find out. And this is a little bit unique, and you might be thinking, well, what's going on here? Okay, and so in slicing, it'll return really a slice of what you want. Okay, and so and this is, it shows where you want to start in the string and where you want to end. Okay, so you start at 1, and you say, well, why you're starting at 1? These items are 0 indexed. Okay, so 0 would be the first letter, 1 is the second, and so on and so forth. -1 is the end. Okay, the very end. So this will tell you start at 1 and work all the way up to, but not including the end. Okay, and so let's do this to see if we got it. And yeah, and that one passes as well. Okay, so spend some time working these problems, looking in the documentation. You'll find interesting ways of solving them. Let's submit it and see what we got. Okay. Now, there we go. You see, the last method I chose to do is actually the most popular way of doing it. Because in these codewars systems, people like to see if they can solve the problem with the shortest amount of code. And so, don't let that bother you. Really, what you want to do is learn to solve the problem, and then once you develop more and more skills, you'll figure out ways of doing it quicker. Okay, and now in Python, what we're going to do is let me move to Python. Okay, I'll train again since I'm doing it in Python this time. I'm going to show you the long way of doing it, or one of the long ways. You could use a loop, or a lot of ways to solve this problem. What I'm going to do is declare a variable called sx, use the built-in list function, and pass in s, that parameter, that string. Okay, and we're going to come down here, and I'm going to declare another variable, and we'll call it arr. Okay, and we'll do x 1, -1, and a. Okay, and I'll return, and I'll use the join function. Okay, and so this is the same thing. I create a list, which a list is kind of like an array in JavaScript. Okay, I created a list out of the function, the parameter, the string parameter. Okay, and it's x. Then I use some slicing on that list. Okay, and so I want the second element, the second character in the string, up to up to the last. Okay, -1, and then we'll use the join function to put it together and return it. Let's try this. Okay, and it passes as well. Let's see. Go do the attempt. All right, it passes all the tests too. Now, but you'll find that there's a lot of ways to solve these problems as you work them. I could have come in here and said, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'll return s1 -1, and this will work too, I believe. There we go. You see, but anyway, as you work these problems, you'll learn there's a lot of ways to solve this stuff. And the thing is, you're working this stuff, and you're picking up the basics. You're learning how to look at a problem, how to take it apart. You solve for simple things, and then you put it together, and you can build bigger and bigger things eventually. And that's what the goal is. Okay, and so when we get to and you see the last way I did it is actually the preferred method, or the most popular method in Python to do that. But if we scroll down through here, you see there's lots of ways. Someone did an if-elif statement. Okay, people get creative in these things. Anyway, it's all it is. This is about working the problem and finding solutions to it. You go to the documentation. You read up on these methods of doing things. Like here's the slicing in JavaScript that I was talking about. This is the section on for loops in JavaScript. Python has its own documentation, but that's it. You come in here and you take these problems apart. You figure out, what's being passed in, what you need to return, and then you look at some examples and you start thinking through how you would break it apart and solve it. Anyway, that's pretty much it for today. I appreciate you watching, and go ahead and like and subscribe, and I'll keep putting out videos like this. Thanks. Hey, thanks for watching. Please, if you found this video helpful, like the video, hit that subscribe button, and share this video on social media. Also, feel free to leave a comment and let's master the art of programming together.